caught my wife removing her wedding ring and making out with another man. I thought my marriage was solid until my wife's girls' nights turned into weekly bar crawls with her single. When the nights out began, I never thought I'd be the type of man to share my marriage troubles with strangers online. But here I am, 35 years old, staring at a blinking cursor, trying to make sense of the slow-motion train wreck that has become my relationship. My wife, we'll call her Jen, is 32. We've been married for 7 years, together for 10. No kids, no messy custody complications. At least that's one thing I'm grateful for. For most of our marriage, things felt stable. Not perfect, of course, no relationship is, but stable. We had our routines: work, dinner together, lazy nights on the couch, weekend trips to the farmer's market. Even during our disagreements, I always felt like we were on the same team. Then, a few months ago, she made some new friends. At first, I didn't think much of it. Jen has always been social, and I figured it was good for her to have more people to hang out with. But as I learned their names and their stories, a knot began forming in my stomach. These weren't just fun girls from her yoga class or co-workers grabbing drinks after work. They were all either single or divorced, and not quietly moving on from those experiences. No, these women carried a visible bitterness toward men, and they wore it like a badge of honor. The first change I noticed was how often Jen started going out. Girls' nights used to be rare, maybe once every couple of months. Suddenly, it was every week: bars, lounges, clubs. At first, she'd text me if she was running late. Then it shifted to vague one-liners like, "Don't wait up," or no messages at all until she stumbled in after midnight. When she was home, she was elsewhere, physically sitting beside me on the couch, but mentally buried in her phone, thumbs flying as she messaged her new friends. If I suggested cooking dinner together or having a movie night, she'd brush it off with maybe another time. Then came the subtle, but telling, red flags. She started dressing up more, not just for nights out, but for the gym. Expensive new outfits, full makeup, and hair done as if she were going on a date. She guarded her phone like a state secret. A new passcode appeared, and if I so much as glanced at the screen, she'd tilt it away. Sometimes, I'd walk into the room mid-conversation, and she'd hush her friends or end the call entirely. One night, I caught a snippet while she was on FaceTime. "You deserve it if he's not giving you attention." The second she noticed me nearby, she shushed the friend and changed the subject. That sentence echoed in my head for days. I'll be honest, I haven't been at my best lately. Work's been intense, and stress has taken its toll. I've been tired, maybe even a little emotionally checked out at times. But I've never mistreated her, and I didn't think things were bad enough for her to seek attention elsewhere. Then she started talking about Chris. Chris from the gym. It started casually enough. Jen mentioned him one evening while we were making small talk. Chris at the gym showed me this new protein shake recipe. I didn't think much of it. People chat at the gym all the time. But then he came up again, and again. "Chris benched 250 today. Chris says this brand of leggings is better for yoga." It wasn't just what she said, it was how. A little smile on her lips, a spark in her eyes I hadn't seen directed at me in months. After the fourth or fifth mention, I asked, "Who's Chris?" Her reaction was immediate, defensive. "Just a guy in my workout class. Sometimes he talks to me and my friend." Making a big deal out of nothing. I let it go, but something didn't sit right. There's a difference between a harmless acquaintance and the kind of familiarity that changes the tone of someone's voice. A week later, I came home early to find Jen in front of the mirror, applying the finishing touches to a look that could have belonged on a red carpet. High heels, short, curve-hugging dress, perfume she usually wore for anniversaries or birthdays. "Where are you going?" I asked, half joking. "You sure you're not secretly "You're being ridiculous." She didn't confirm anything. She didn't deny it either. When I told her that if there was nothing to hide, she shouldn't mind me verifying for myself, she called me controlling. Her voice rose. Mine did too. Eventually, she stormed out to get some air and returned hours later without a word. That night she slept in the guest room, a first for us. Lying awake, staring at the ceiling, I knew talking was pointless. Whatever was happening, she wasn't going to admit it. So I decided I would find out for myself. The plan. If Jen was going to keep dodging questions and painting me as the bad guy, I needed something undeniable. Proof that even she couldn't talk her way around. I knew exactly who to call. Mark and Danny, my closest friends since college. They'd been hearing bits and pieces of what was going on, enough to already despise the influence Jen's new friends had over her. Mark had been through something similar years ago. His girlfriend at the time cheated on him after girls' nights became a regular thing. He knew the signs. When I told them I suspected Jen might be doing more than dancing with her friends, they didn't hesitate. "Tell us when and where," Mark said. "We'll find out." As if on cue, Jen handed me the perfect opportunity. The morning after our blow-up, she casually mentioned, "By the way, I'm going out with the girls on Friday. Don't wait up." Just like that. No discussion, no checking if we had plans. The sheer indifference in her tone lit a fire in my chest. I didn't argue. I just said, "Okay." Inside, I was already setting things in motion. The plan was simple. Mark and Danny would head to the club early, blend in, and keep an eye on Jen's group without being noticed. If they saw anything questionable, flirting, intimate dancing, anything crossing the line, they'd get it on video. They'd stay until the group left, making sure to see who left with who. They joked about it being like an undercover mission from our college days. But beneath the humor, I could see the seriousness in their eyes. They knew this could be the night I'd finally learn the truth. The rest of the week felt like waiting for a storm you can't avoid. At home, Jen and I were in a cold war, polite small talk, no affection, both of us pretending not to notice the distance. She spent her evenings texting her friends, laughing at things she wouldn't share with me. And every time her phone buzzed, my gut told me Friday would confirm everything I'd been fearing. The night it all unraveled. Friday night, Jen got ready like she was heading to a VIP gala. Tight black dress, high heels, full makeup, hair curled, perfume I'd only smelled on her for special occasions. She didn't even look at me when she passed through the living room. "See you later," she said, barely glancing over her shoulder. I nodded, masking the churn in my stomach. Once she was gone, I texted Mark, "She's on her way." They'd already arrived at the club, blending in with the crowd. Their updates were short at first. "Here." Spotted them. Keeping distance. I tried to distract myself with Netflix, but I couldn't focus. My phone was in my hand the entire time, the screen lighting up like a lifeline. Close to midnight, I got a new message from Mark. "Dude, it's bad. Getting vids." My chest tightened. I typed back immediately, "What happened?" No reply. Just silence for what felt like the longest 20 minutes of my life. My mind conjured every possible scene, and none of them were innocent. Finally, Danny texted, "We're leaving now. Got plenty of footage. Talk soon." They came straight to my house. Jen wasn't home yet, which only made the knot in my stomach tighter. It was past 1 a.m. and she was still out. When I opened the door, Mark and Danny's faces said it all. Grim, angry, like they'd seen something they wished they could unsee. "I'm sorry, man," Mark said quietly, already pulling up a video on his phone. The first clip hit me like a punch. Jen and her friends on the dance floor, surrounded by random guys. One of her friends, Tara, the engaged one, was grinding on some stranger like she was single and proud of it. Then my eyes found Jen. She wasn't dancing alone. She was at the bar, leaning into a tall guy in a button-down shirt, her hand brushing his arm as she laughed at something he said. Proof in pixels. The next clip was shakier. Danny had filmed while moving closer. Jen and the tall guy were on the dance floor now. His hands rested low on her waist, fingers splayed like he owned her. She laughed, head tilted back, then looped her arms around his neck. They were moving together in a slow grind that had nothing to do with the beat of the music. My jaw clenched so tight it hurt. Mark swiped to the next video. This one stopped my breath cold. They were against a dimly lit wall near the back of the club. Her hands were in his hair, his hands roaming freely over her hips. And then they were kissing. Full on, deep, no hesitation. She kissed him like she'd been waiting to do it all night. In another frame, one of her friends, Mia, the divorced one, was making out with some guy right next to them. It was like some kind of hookup alley. But there was one detail in Mark's footage that burned even deeper than the kiss. Her left hand, bare. The wedding ring I'd seen on her finger when she left the house gone. Did she leave with him? I forced out. Danny shook his head. No, he left with his buddies eventually. She stayed with her friends until closing. But man, that's more than enough. They told me Tara had left hand in hand with another guy, and Mia had disappeared toward the bathrooms with hers. It was chaos, and they'd caught it all on video. I felt a cold finality settle over me. Whatever doubts I'd been holding onto were gone. This was no misunderstanding. The longest night. Mark and Danny left around 2 a.m., both of them giving me that same look, part pity, part anger. Whatever you decide, you're not wrong here, Mark said before walking out. I just nodded, my mind running on a loop of the videos I'd just seen. Jen stumbled in around 2:30 a.m. The smell of alcohol and perfume hit me before she even spoke. She took a quick shower, humming under her breath, then slid into bed beside me like it was any other Friday night. I kept my breathing steady, pretending to be asleep. If I confronted her then, I'd explode. And I didn't want to have this conversation without a clear head or without a plan. By Saturday morning, my decision was made. I would not only confront her, but I would also make sure the other men connected to her friends knew the truth. Tara's fiancé, Mia's boyfriend. They deserved to know they were being lied to just as much as I did. Collateral damage. I spent most of Sunday pulling together the clearest clips and screenshots from Friday night. The ones that left no room for misunderstandings or excuses. By the evening, I had 2 names and 2 targets. Nick, Tara's fiancé. Rob, Mia's boyfriend. I created a throwaway email account and sent each of them a short, anonymous message. I'm sorry to be the bearer of this, but you need to know. The attached video was taken Friday night at club name. Your fiancé/girlfriend is in it, engaging in inappropriate behavior. I thought you should know before you make any big decisions. I have more footage if you need it. A concerned friend. By Monday morning, the responses began. Nick replied first, asking for more context and who I was. I didn't give my identity, but I confirmed I knew the group and didn't want him walking into marriage blind. I sent him another short clip, Tara kissing a stranger. After that, silence. Rob never replied, but I got my answer a different way. Around noon, Jen's phone started blowing up. Tara was raging in the group chat, calling me every name in the book and accusing me of ruining her life. Mia's messages were less angry, more panicked. By the end of the day, Nick had kicked Tara out, their engagement over. Rob? From the way Mia suddenly posted a string of cryptic heartbreak statuses on Facebook, I'd say he dumped her too. Their tight little friend group? Shattered. The confession. It didn't take Jen long to connect the dots. By Monday afternoon, she stormed into the house, slamming the door behind her. Was it you? Did you send those videos to Nick? I didn't flinch. Yeah, he deserved to know, just like I deserve to know if my own wife is cheating. For a moment, she just stared at me, stunned. Then the excuses started spilling out. She cried, claimed it only happened once, and that she'd been pressured by her friends. It was stupid. I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. She admitted to kissing the guy at the club and flirting with him earlier in the night, but swore she never slept with anyone. According to her, it was the first and last time. I asked about Chris from the gym. She admitted she'd been talking to him for a while because she liked the attention, but insisted they'd never even kissed. When I brought up her missing wedding ring, she said her friends told her to take it off to not scare guys away. She knew exactly what she was doing. I told her point blank, "This isn't a mistake, Jen. This is a series of choices. Lying to me, bad-mouthing me to your friends, seeking out other men's attention, and then cheating. You knew what you were doing." She sobbed harder, asking if I was really going to throw away 10 years over one stupid drunken night. "I'm not the one who threw it away," I said. "You did that when you kissed him, and every time you lied to me before it. The end of us." Her sobbing turned into pleading. "I was lonely. You weren't there for me emotionally. My friends convinced me you didn't care. I didn't raise my voice until then. Maybe I was distant at times, but you never came to me seriously about it. You chose to betray me instead. That's on you." She knew she wasn't changing my mind. The tears slowed, replaced by a hollow resignation. I told her to pack a bag and go stay with someone else. maybe one of those friends. If they'd even take her in now, she'd be at her parents' place by nightfall. I made it clear. I'd be contacting a lawyer immediately. No kids, separate finances, and a rental meant this would be quick. I wanted it clean, fast, and final. She didn't argue. By the next morning, the house was quieter than it had been in months. No constant buzzing of her phone. No whispered calls in the other room. The friend group was in ruins. Tara's wedding was off. Mia was single. Lena, well, she'd lost her partners in crime. As for me, I'm not okay yet. But I will be. I've got Mark, Danny, and my family behind me. Therapy is already on my calendar. The videos are still on my phone, but I haven't watched them again. I don't need to. The images are burned into my mind. Some lines, once crossed, can't be uncrossed. And Jen crossed every single one of them.